Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, Ian Magado Cherry, the man with the most feminine tattoos of all of MMA, just continues to make himself the most dislikable person on the roster. Apparently, he leaked an alleged conversation that he had with Leon Edwards, head coach. I guess he's been doing a little bit of traveling, training with different people all over the world. He was just in Iceland, training with Gunnar Nelson, and I guess he stopped by the UK and is acting like he put Leon Edwards through a little bit of odd cheese, okay? And now he's came out and said that Dave Lovell told him he was no longer allowed to train there because Leon doesn't want any insecurities or doubts in the gym, okay? Now, first of all, I would never take anything Ian Magado Cherry says at face value and just wholeheartedly believe him unless Dave Lovell comes out and confirms that those words were spoken. I'm going to say that this is probably 30 to 50% maybe probably happened, okay? However, for the sake of argument, we can just pretend that that's what was actually said and talk about why he just proved Dave Lovell's point and what he was talking about, not wanting any insecurities or doubts in the gym. Ian Magado Cherry has such little self-awareness that he doesn't realize the insecurities and the doubts that Dave Lovell was talking about was not that Leon Edwards might doubt his abilities, might become insecure of his abilities based on what Ian Magado Cherry was able to do in the gym, okay? The insecurities and the doubts that he are talking about is Ian Magado Cherry himself. And seriously, leaking this conversation, if that is what happened, proves his point. Just shows how insecure Ian Magado Cherry is because, one, let's just pretend that he did spar Leon Edwards and maybe he did get the better of him, okay? First of all, Leon Edwards has been preparing for a very certain type of style for a good while. He's known he was going to fight Colby Covington after the third Kamaru Usman fight. He's probably been focusing on keeping distance and takedown defense. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if he were to have a fight booked with Ian Magado Cherry, he would probably work on messing him up in the clinch quite a bit, considering Ian Magado Cherry is pretty damn good at range, okay? Do you know what I mean? So he's been working on a very specific game plan for a very specific opponent. So I could possibly conjure up a world in my own head where Ian Magado Cherry did get the better of Leon Edwards in sparring. But it's just sparring. It's just practice. And gym code usually states you're not supposed to really talk about that, okay? And I get that that's not his full-time gym, so he's not really doing like his coach dirty or his training partners dirty. But you did go and train with them, so you shouldn't be spewing out bullshit after the fact, okay, dude? When I started training at 13 years old, when I showed up to the first day of class, there was a guy who I could not stand and he couldn't stand me back, okay? My friend group and his friend group were like arch nemesis. Multiple of my friends had fought multiple of his friends. I had fought a couple of his friends. It was like a real shit show going on between the guys in grade 9 and the guys in grade 8. Nobody liked anybody, okay? So when I showed up at class, I thought, fuck me, dude. And it was a grappling day, okay? And then my coach, our instructor, he paired us up with one another because we were very similar in size, age, and all of that stuff. But this guy had been going and training for a good while, okay? And in the grappling department, this guy absolutely had his way with me, manhandled me. There was nothing I could do. I tried to spaz out of a few things like every other fucking white belt does on their first day. I tried to not tap to a Kimura, and he had to look up at the instructor. The instructor had to force me to tap. Like, I did not want to submit because I could not stand this guy. And as soon as class ended, all I could think of was this motherfucker's gonna go to school. He's gonna tell all his friends that can't stand me that he just ragdolled me in class, okay? And to my surprise, that did not happen. Because had he done this, this is how I know that he didn't say anything. Had he told them, everybody would have shit talked me. I would have heard about it many times over. I probably would have never heard the end of it. So I knew that he didn't say shit. And I was very, very, very surprised by that. Because one, we couldn't stand each other. Two, we're both pretty young. Do you know what I mean? So we're not overly emotionally mature to the point where that's what's being like, that's the thought process that is going to go through your head. Do you know what I mean? Then when it came to kickboxing class, I fucked him up. And I just returned the favor. I'm not going to go talk about it to my friends. I'm not going to go tell my friends that I absolutely had my way with this dude in the striking department, because why the fuck would I? Do you know what I mean? He didn't do it to me. Why would I do it to him? Dave Lovell, Leon Edwards didn't say shit about Ian Magado fucking Cherry coming to train with them. And then Ian Magado Cherry has to come out and say some bullshit like this, proving Dave Lovell's point correct. The fact that he leaked this conversation really makes it seem that if there was ever a scenario where he did get the better of Leon Edwards in sparring on a consistent basis or something like that, had his number or whatever, he would tell the fucking world. By the way, we've already got a problem with too many welterweights training together. Before Ian Magado Cherry decided he was going to go travel the world with his wife and her ex-husband, okay? He was training with, I think, Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm pretty sure he trained with Gilbert Burns. I mean, there was like 5 or 6 welterweights all at that same fucking gym. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head. We already have a problem with this in the UFC. Merab and Aljo got a ton of shit for that, okay? Now, maybe because it was more towards a championship level, but still, a lot of these guys could be fighting in contender fights, but they're not booked with one another because they're all fucking friends and training partners. Enough of that, dude. I don't blame Dave Lovell one bit for not wanting you in his fucking gym, dude. And you kind of proved why. You go and leak a conversation like that with a head coach showing just absolutely no fucking respect whatsoever. By the way, even if we just take Ian Magado Cherry's word at face value and we believe everything that he says, Dave Lovell is under no fucking obligation whatsoever to have you at his gym. He doesn't have to coach you. If he doesn't think you mesh with the guys there, or he thinks that you're going to be a fucking problem, he literally doesn't need a reason. He could just not like you, like so many others don't fucking like you, dude. It's insane to me. This guy's very little lack of self-awareness. There's a reason why so many people dislike you, okay? You're arrogant, you're loud. I don't know that I would want you in my gym. Do you know what I mean? It would sound... from the looks of it and the sounds of it, it would be fucking annoying as fucking all get out, okay? Do you know what I mean? So, Ian Magado Cherry just shows us all once again why he's a cunt, why nobody wants to fucking like him, why coaches don't want him in the gym, because he goes and exposes or leaks whatever alleged conversations that were supposed to be private, that were had in private, okay? Trying to imply that he got the better of Leon Edwards in training, and it's just fucking silly, dude. Give Leon Edwards an 8-week camp for your bitch ass and see what he does with that. Do you know what I mean? Again, he's been preparing for a guy in Colby Covington who's going to be shooting like crazy, a guy who he probably wants to keep at the end of his range, pardon me, with leg kicks and things like this, trying to not get taken down, and then you come in here with a completely different style and maybe get the better of him. So, Ian Magado Cherry, clown, shows us that he's a clown once again. I'm not going to believe that this is what was said until Dave Lovell or Leon Edwards comes out and confirms it. But until then, I'll just assume that the insecurities and doubts Dave Lovell was talking about is actually Ian Magado Cherry more than him getting the better of Leon Edwards in training. Now, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.